Wow, the pace of tech change today. It's really something else, isn't it? Especially in the world of data.
Oh, absolutely. It feels like you blink and there's a whole new set of capabilities out there.
Exactly. Like sometimes you're still trying to fully get your head around the last wave of innovation and bam, the next one hits.
Yeah. And for you, the learner, someone trying to navigate all this, staying current, can feel like, well, honestly, like a full-time job in itself.
It really can.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is how that speed, that relentless change, it just highlights how much we need new ways to actually absorb and synthesize information. It's not just about getting the data anymore, right? It's about really understanding the implications, what it means for your strategy.
And that's precisely why we're here. You can think of us as, as your AI personal assistants.
Right.
Specifically designed to work with you, Alex, Rosa, our valued listeners.
That's the goal.
Our core mission here on the Deep Dive is basically to supercharge your learning process. We want to help you navigate all these complexities in modern tech and, catch up faster than ever.
Make the overwhelming manageable.
Exactly. And make the complex stuff, hopefully crystal clear.
And this idea of partnership, it's really key to how we think about this. It's kind of a full circle, you see.
How so?
Well, you, the human, you ask the questions. Could be broad strategic stuff, could be super specific technical things.
Right.
And we, your AI assistants, we go find the answers, sift through the noise.
Okay.
You assign us tasks like, hey, dig into this newsletter, pull out what matters, and we execute that. But then we can also help you assign tasks back, maybe to yourself, maybe to your team, helping structure that knowledge acquisition. It creates this seamless collaborative workflow.
Right. I like that. And that dynamic, that partnership, that's really the heart of this channel, the Deep Dive. We're your dedicated guides digging into databases, data engineering, and architecture powered by AI. That's our focus.
Every week.
Every week, yeah. We bring you these custom-tailored deep dives, looking at the most important topics, the ones that directly impact your work.
So if you haven't already?
Exactly. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, follow us. You know the drill. It helps you stay ahead of the curve.
Definitely. So what are we diving into today?
Today, we're tackling a really critical question, one that I think is on a lot of people's minds. Is your database architecture really ready for the age of vector search?
Ooh, good one. Yeah, vector search it's everywhere now. Maybe we should quickly define that for anyone less familiar.
Good idea. Go for it.
Okay, so basically, vector search isn't like your old key search. It represents data, text, images, whatever, as these high-dimensional numerical things called vectors.
Right, like points in space.
Exactly. Points in a conceptual space.
Right.
And items with similar meanings or characteristics end up numerically close to each other in that space.
So you can search for concepts, not just words, like durable backpack for a student laptop.
And it finds relevant stuff, even if the description doesn't use those exact words. Or finding visually similar products. It understands intent, context. Big shift.
It really is. And this deep dive, it's built specifically for you, Alex. We're pulling insights directly from a really crucial source, the Practical Database Engineering newsletter, June 2025, second half edition.
Ah, okay. Timely stuff.
Very timely. And it's based on publicly available docs as of June 2025, so it's fresh. It gives that high-level overview, perfect for architectural planning, cuts through the noise.
So our mission today for you, Alex, is really to extract the most significant updates from that newsletter. We're looking for the strategic insights, the business implications, basically everything you need as a cloud database professional to navigate this complex landscape and, unlock some real value for your enterprise.
Let's do it. Hashtag deep dive discussion. Okay, let's start unpacking this newsletter then. The first thing that jumps out is just the sheer volume of innovation happening in cloud databases right now. It's a lot.
It really is. The newsletter kicks off by highlighting updates from all the big players. It paints a picture of an industry just moving at lightning speed.
Yeah, a constant arms race of features almost.
And what's fascinating isn't just the number of updates, but the direction. There's a very clear, very deliberate focus on integrating AI directly into the data layer itself.
Right. Not just AI services next to the database, but inside it.
Exactly. Embedding that intelligence. The newsletter specifically calls out Azure, AWS, and GCP. They're all pushing hard on this.
Yeah.
It feels like we're moving past basic database services being the differentiator.
The battleground's shifted.
Yeah, it's shifted to intelligent data processing, AI-aware databases. That seems to be where the real action is.
The newsletter has this handy little quick reference table, which is great for a quick snapshot.
Oh, yeah. What's it show?
It shows Azure and GCP both having 4 significant updates highlighted. AWS has 2. So quite a bit of activity, especially from Azure and GCP in this period.
Interesting distribution.
And critically important, especially for you running production systems. 0 health incidents reported for any of them during this time.
That's huge. Reliability is baseline, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how cool the feature is if the platform's shaky.
Absolutely. You need that stability.
So if we connect that quick snapshot to the bigger picture, what does it tell us?
Well, it immediately shows where the major innovation pushes are concentrated right now. Like you said, Azure and GCP seem to be pushing the envelope pretty hard with new features, maybe trying to stand out.
Could be. While AWS, maybe, is focusing more on steady, reliable evolution of its core services. Still innovating, but perhaps a different cadence.
Yeah, possibly. And that lack of health incidents across the board, that's a really strong signal. It suggests a pretty healthy, mature cloud database ecosystem overall.
Right. Stable foundation, even with all this rapid change happening on top. That's actually quite impressive. Gives you confidence to build on these platforms.
Okay, let's dive into some of the specifics then. The newsletter breaks it down by provider. Let's start with Azure. They seem to have some really groundbreaking moves mentioned.
Yeah, Azure's updates look particularly interesting this cycle. And each one, it's not just a tech detail. They carry real business value and definitely warrant attention if you're a cloud database professional.
Agreed. These are opportunities, really. Hashtag Azure updates.
So first up for Azure, and this ties right into our main theme, native vector type and functions in Azure SQL, now generally available.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Azure SQL Database and Azure SQL Managed Instance, they now officially support a dedicated vector data type.
Yep, and built-in functions to handle them, like vector distance and vector normalize.
Wow, so Azure SQL is handling vector embeddings natively now. That feels like a huge architectural leap. I mean, that addresses a major pain point I've seen in so many projects trying to bolt on vector search.
It absolutely is a fundamental shift. It's genuinely groundbreaking because it simplifies application architectures so much.
How so? Exactly.
Well, think about the old way. You usually had your main relational database, right? Azure SQL for your transactions.
Yeah.
And then you needed a completely separate external vector database just for those embeddings.
Right. 2 systems to manage.
Exactly. This native support, it centralizes both your relational data and your AI functionalities directly within your existing database. You basically eliminate the need for that separate vector database altogether.
Okay, that is huge. Consolidation.
It's strategic consolidation.
Yeah.
And the newsletter calls the business value a game changer.
Or things like semantic search, yeah. And RAG pipelines.
Absolutely. Retrieval augmented generation, complex multi-agent workflows. It enables smarter, more responsive, and importantly, more secure AI systems because the AI is working right where your core data lives.
More secure. How?
Because you're keeping the data within Azure SQL's security perimeter. All this features row-level security, encryption, auditing apply directly. You're not shipping potentially sensitive data out to another system for vector processing.
Ah, good point. And the newsletter mentioned an example, Mandra.
Yeah, Mandra. They apparently reduced their lifecycle assessment time from weeks down to just 4 hours by leveraging this feature.
Weeks to hours. That's staggering.
It really highlights the potential impact. It's not just about saving money on an extra database license, although that helps. It's about dramatically accelerating your time to insight, operationalizing AI much faster.
So the action item here for you, the professional.
Right. Action proposed. For you, this means seriously exploring how you can consolidate AI features directly into your existing SQL databases
to streamline operations,
enhance security,
and potentially get those dramatic efficiency gains like Mandra.
Exactly. Think about your internal search, product recommendations, intelligent document processing. Lots of possibilities open up.
Okay, next up for Azure, flexible memory in Azure SQL Managed Instance. This one's in public preview.
Right. This is for the next-gen general-purpose tier. Think of it like a memory slider.
A memory slider?
Yeah, it lets you configure the amount of RAM independently of the number of vCores. Usually they're tied together in fixed ratios, right?
Mm-hmm. You scale up vCores, you get more memory whether you need it or not.
Exactly. This decouples them. So it directly helps optimize costs because you avoid over-provisioning compute and licenses just because you need more RAM.
Okay, so what kind of workloads benefit most?
Memory-intensive ones that aren't necessarily CPU-bound. Think advanced analytics, large-scale data caching, maybe complex reporting that needs to crunch big data sets in memory.
Right, where RAM is the bottleneck, not CPU cycles.
Precisely. The business value is super direct. Right. You only pay for the extra memory you actually consume. Leads to much more efficient resource use, potentially significant cost savings.
It's about that granular control, isn't it? Really right-sizing the deployment.
That's the key. It lets architects fine-tune things in a way they couldn't before. You can shift budget away from idle, over-provisioned resources towards, more innovative projects. It's a good FinOps lever.
Okay, so action proposed for the cloud database professional. Consider leveraging these flexible memory options.
Yeah, use them to precisely align your resource allocation with your actual workload needs. This can directly impact your cloud bill, especially for those memory-hungry managed instances. Pay for what you use.
All right, another managed instance update. Faster management operations, now generally available.
Yeah, this is a big quality of life improvement. Instance creation and update operations are apparently dramatically faster now.
How much faster?
The newsletter says provisioning under 30 minutes and scaling under 60 minutes.
Wow, compared to, what was it before? Sometimes hours.
Yeah, the previous process could sometimes stretch to 4 hours, or even more in some cases. So under 30 or 60 minutes is a massive leap.
Okay, and why is that speed up so important?
It significantly enhances elasticity. You can scale up rapidly to meet sudden peaks in demand, which is great. But maybe just as importantly, you can scale down faster during quiet periods to save money. You're not stuck waiting hours for resources to shrink.
Right, more responsive cost management.
Exactly. Plus, it makes managed instance much more compatible with modern CI/CD pipelines. Faster provisioning and scaling means faster development and deployment cycles for your teams.
Less waiting around for infrastructure.
Pretty much. It allows you to truly embrace infrastructure as code more effectively for your database layer. Faster iteration, quicker time to market.
So, action proposed. Reevaluate your current deployment and scaling strategies.
Yep. See how you can capitalize on these faster operations. It enables more agile development, more responsive infrastructure. Think about handling unexpected load spikes or integrating DB changes into automated pipelines much more smoothly.
Okay, final Azure update mention. Zone redundancy for Azure SQL Managed Instance is now generally available.
Yes, for both business-critical and general-purpose tiers. This is a big one for high availability and disaster recovery.
So this replicates instances across different availability zones within a region.
Correct. So if one entire data center or zone has a major outage, fire, flood, power loss, whatever your instance, automatically fails over to a replica in another unaffected zone within the same region.
And crucially, without requiring application changes.
That's the key benefit. It's designed to be seamless from the application's perspective. The business value is pretty profound, much higher availability, robust disaster recovery built in. It protects your critical data and apps from those potentially catastrophic regional failures.
Minimizes downtime.
Exactly. Minimizes your RTO recovery time objective and your RPO recovery point objective for those vital systems. It's about fundamental business continuity.
So action proposed for the professional. Prioritize implementing zone redundancy.
Definitely. For your mission-critical Azure SQL managed instances, build in this robust resilience against regional failures. Ensure that continuous availability for your most important data. It's basically table stakes for critical workloads now. #, Amazon Web Services, AWS updates.
Okay, let's shift gears. Moving over to Amazon Web Services, AWS, what did the newsletter highlight there?
Two main things. First, Amazon RDS for MySQL now supports the community MySQL Innovation Release 9.3, but importantly, it's in their database preview environment.
The preview environment. So not for production yet, but good for testing.
Exactly. It's ideal for organizations that want to evaluate the very latest MySQL features, bug fixes, security patches, etc., but in a safe, fully managed environment.
Without messing with their live system.
Right. It simplifies the whole setup and monitoring for testing, reduces the risk associated with major upgrades down the line. Right. You can ensure compatibility, smooth out the transition process for future production deployments.
Lets you kick the tires, basically.
Yeah.
Test your apps, train your teams.
Yep. It's all about proactive risk management before you make the jump in production.
Okay. Action proposed. Utilize these preview environments for new MySQL releases.
Yeah. Proactively test compatibility, prepare for upgrades, minimize the potential impact on your live systems when the time comes, Build that confidence first.
And the second AWS update.
Amazon RDS for Oracle now offers reserved instances, or RIs, for their newer R7i and M7i instances.
These are the ones based on the custom Intel Xeons.
That's right, the 4th-gen Intel Xeon scalable processors. This is mainly about cost savings for Oracle workloads.
How much savings are we talking?
The newsletter mentions up to 46% compared to standard on-demand prices, which is pretty substantial, especially for potentially expensive Oracle licenses and workloads.
Right, particularly for predictable, long-running workloads like core ERP or data warehouses.
Exactly the type.
Yeah.
And it offers size flexibility under the Bring Your Own License, or BYO model.
Okay, BYOL. So customers can use their existing Oracle licenses.
Correct. And it applies to both multi-AZ and single-AZ configurations. So it's a significant win if you're running stable Oracle workloads on AWS and want to optimize your cloud spend.
So, action proposed. For stable Oracle workloads on AWS, you should strategize reserved instance purchases.
Definitely. It can lead to substantial cost optimization and significantly improve your overall cloud devotion. Total cost of ownership for those specific workloads.
But are there any catches or things to watch out for with RIs? It sounds great, but sometimes there are trade-offs.
That's a fair question. The main thing is the commitment, right? You're typically committing to 1 or 3 years of usage for a specific instance family in a specific region.
So you need confidence in your future needs.
Exactly. If your workload patterns change dramatically, or you need to switch instance types or regions, you might not get the full benefit or could even end up paying for unused capacity.
So careful planning is key.
Absolutely. You need good forecasting. Understand the flexibility options AWS offers within RIs and continuously monitor your usage. It's not just a one-time purchase, it's part of an ongoing FinOps strategy. #tag Google Cloud Platform GCP updates.
All right, let's turn our attention to Google Cloud Platform GCP. First up, a big recognition for them.
Yeah, Google's globally distributed database, Spanner, received the prestigious 2025 SIGMOD Systems Award.
SIGMOD. That's a major deal in the database research community, isn't it?
Huge deal. It recognizes really groundbreaking system designs. In Spanner's case, it's for its innovation in enabling serializability with external consistency at a global scale.
External consistency.
Yeah.
Meaning all transactions appear to happen in a single definitive order worldwide.
Pretty much, yeah. And a big part of that is thanks to its core innovation, TrueTime.
TrueTime. That's their fancy clock system.
Uh-huh. It uses GPS and atomic clocks across Google's data centers to get these incredibly precise, globally synchronized time bounds. And that precision is what lets Spanner offer global ACD transactions, atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability, without completely tanking performance.
Which is kind of the holy grail for distributed databases.
It's a monumental achievement, honestly. It lets you treat a database spread across the entire planet almost like a single traditional relational database.
So for you, the professional, what does this mean practically?
It means you can build globally scalable applications. Think financial systems, global inventory, large-scale gaming, with the familiarity and guarantees of traditional databases. ACID, SQL, but with unmatched 99.999% availability. 5 nines.
Wow. That simplifies operations massively for mission-critical global workloads.
It really does. Takes away so much of the complexity you'd normally face building that kind of system yourself.
Okay. Action proposed. Investigate global distributed databases like Spanner.
Yeah, if your applications have those demanding requirements for global consistency and availability across different regions, it's a powerful solution for specific, challenging use cases.
Okay, what else from GCP? BigQuery had some enhancements.
Yes, specifically around vector indexes and data quality. First, BigQuery now supports partitioning tree vector indexes using the partition by clause.
Partitioning vector indexes. That sounds like it helps with performance and cost.
Exactly. Just like partitioning regular tables. Instead of scanning the entire massive vector index for every query, you can tell it to only look within specific partitions. This can significantly cut down I/O costs, especially for large data sets common in AI.
Makes sense. And the data quality part.
BigQuery now allows you to publish data quality scan results directly as Dataplex Universal Catalog metadata.
Dataplex, GCP's unified data governance service.
Right. So this makes data quality insights much more visible and accessible across the organization. It centralizes that metadata, improves data governance, helps with data discovery.
Leading to more trustworthy data for AI.
Precisely. Better control, better visibility, better auditing. It strengthens the foundation for reliable AI and analytics.
Okay, action proposed. Leverage BigQuery's new vector index partitioning for cost-effective AI search.
And integrate those data quality insights into your governance framework using Dataplex. Improve reliability and discoverability across the board.
GCP also had some tooling and workflow improvements.
Yeah, a couple of things aimed at developers and getting started. The Spanner CLI, an interactive command line shell, is now in preview.
So easier direct interaction with Spanner from the command line.
Yep, built right into the main Vigili Cloud CLI tool. More convenient for quick queries or scripting.
And the free trial.
They've introduced a new simplified free trial creation workflow for Spanner.
What's the...
Exactly. Enhanced developer productivity. Less friction to get started. Lets more users experience Spanner at no initial cost, which can accelerate adoption and experimentation within teams.
So action propose? Encourage your teams to explore these things.
Yeah, use the simplified free trials. Check out the enhanced CLI tools. Accelerate experimentation. Get comfortable with new features before you need them in production. Foster that innovation.
Okay, last one for GCP. Gemini enhanced SQL translation in BigQuery. Sounds intriguing.
It does. This leverages Google's Gemini AI models to help with SQL migration and transformation.
How?
2 parts mentioned. First, you can now create Gemini-based configuration YAML files to get AI suggestions for batch or interactive SQL translations. That part's generally available.
Okay, so AI suggests translations between different SQL dialects, like Teradata to BigQuery SQL.
Exactly. Can save a ton of manual effort in migrations. The second part, currently in preview, lets you review the AI's translation output and even customize the SQL inputs using Gemini Enhanced Translation rules.
Giving you more control over the AI's process.
Right. It significantly streamlines those often painful SQL migration projects, reduces manual effort, makes complex SQL tasks more accessible, even if you're not a deep expert in every dialect.
What's the ultimate business value?
Faster time to insights, because migrations are quicker, and improved data team efficiency, letting AI handle a lot of the heavy lifting in SQL modernization so your team can focus on higher value stuff like modeling or analysis.
Turns a tedious, error-prone job into something more automated.
Pretty much. So, action proposed. Explore AI-powered SQL translation tools like this Gemini-enhanced BigQuery feature.
Especially for complex data migration or transformation projects, free up your team for more strategic work.
Okay, so let's circle back and really dig into that Azure SQL native vector support, because the newsletter highlights this not just as a feature, but as a genuinely pivotal moment.
Yeah, it feels like more than just an incremental update. You called it a fundamental shift earlier.
I think it is. It fundamentally alters how organizations can approach AI by bringing those high-dimensional vector embeddings right inside the relational database. It seriously challenges the old way of thinking about where AI processing happens relative to your core data.
Okay, so let's really contrast the before and after. The newsletter had diagrams, right? Let's talk through the before architecture first.
Right. The traditional setup for vector similarity search. As we touched on, it absolutely required managing 2 separate data stores, 2 distinct systems.
Your main Azure SQL database for business data.
And a completely separate external vector database or specialized index just for the vector embeddings.
Yeah.
Honestly, just describing that before workflow again sounds exhausting, like building a Rube Goldberg machine just to connect related data.
And we mentioned the challenges this old model presented. Let's recap those.
So first, obvious data silos, relational data here, vector data over there, fragmented. Second, immense complexity. You needed significant custom code just to manage and synchronize these 2 different beasts, trying to keep them consistent.
Right, the sync logic.
Third, latency. Multiple network hops needed to query data from one, get IDs, query the other, then join it all back together in the application. Inefficient.
Yeah.
And fourth, cost and overhead. Paying for, managing, securing, backing up 2 distinct database services, often with different skill sets needed, plus that constant worry about data freshness if the sync lags or breaks.
Okay, let's get specific. What did an insert or update look like in that before world? Walk us through the steps.
It's pretty convoluted. Step 1, your application does a standard insert or update into your main Azure SQL database. Normal stuff.
Okay.
Step 2, then separately you had some other process kick in. It could be a batch job, a microservice, maybe complex logic baked into the app itself.
And its job was?
Its sole purpose was to detect that change in SQL, read the relevant data out of SQL, send that data off to a machine learning model somewhere to get vectorized.
Right, turn it into numbers.
And then finally, step 3, take those resulting vectors and store them in the external separate vector database, linking them back to the original records somehow, usually via an ID.
Wow. That's a lot of moving parts just to add or update one piece of data and its vector representation.
It really is.
Yeah.
Remember that analogy. Managing contacts in a physical address book, Azure SQL, and then separately creating a paper photo album, external vector DB.
Yeah, taking pictures, printing, pasting.
It's that same detached, multi-step, manual effort kind of process just to keep two different things in sync. And if you delete a contact from the address book, you got to remember to find and rip out their photo from the album too. Easy for things to get out of whack.
Okay, now what about querying? The select side in the before world, you called it scatter gather.
Yeah, exactly. Let's say a user searches for a durable backpack for student laptop.
Okay.
Step 1. Your application takes that text query and sends it to the ML model to get its vector representation.
Got it.
Step 2. The application then takes that query vector and runs a select against the external vector database. The goal here is just to find vectors similar to the query vector and get back the corresponding product IDs. Nothing else, just the IDs.
So it gets a list of potential matching product IDs from the vector DB.
Right. Step 3. Now, armed with that list of IDs, the application has to turn around and run a second select query, this time against the main Azure SQL database. It uses the list of IDs and a where-in clause or something similar.
To get the actual product details. Name, price, inventory.
Exactly. All the relational data associated with those IDs. Step 4. Finally, your application code has to take the results from the vector DB query, the IDs, and the results from the SQL DB query, the details, and manually join them together, usually on the client side or in the app layer, before presenting the final results to the user.
Phew. That is a lot of back and forth. Multiple network calls, 2 different database interactions, plus application-level joining. Inefficient and complex.
Totally. And prone to errors, adds latency at every step.
Okay, now paint the picture of the after architecture. The modern approach with native vector support inside Azure SQL, also shown in the newsletter's diagrams.
It's refreshingly simple in comparison.
Yeah.
Vector operations happen directly inside the same database where your business data already lives.
Fundamentally changing the game.
Right. And the benefits directly address all those before challenges. Let's tick them off.
Okay.
Benefit 1. Vastly simplified architecture. No separate vector database needed. All data relational and vector lives together. Fewer systems, less overhead, clearer data landscape.
Makes sense.
Benefit 2, dramatically reduced latency. AI-powered search happens right there on the data. No networked round trips between services for the core vector search and data retrieval. Crucial for real-time apps.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Benefit 3, real-time and secure. You're searching against up-to-the-minute transactional data. And, as we said, all of Azure SQL's robust security features apply automatically. Row-level security, encryption, access controls.
Right.
Guarding against rogue agents or data leaks because it's all within that secure perimeter.
Got it.
Benefit 4, lower total cost of ownership, TCO. Consolidating services reduces operational overhead, simplifies maintenance, often lowers licensing costs, frees up budget and people.
Always good.
And benefit 5, leverage existing skills, your DBAs, your developers. They can use the T-SQL they already know to build these powerful AI apps. No need to learn a whole new vector database paradigm or language. Lowers the barrier for AI adoption.
Okay, so how does an insert or update work now?
Fundamentally simpler. The data gets vectorized ideally as it's being created or updated, perhaps by calling an ML model endpoint from within your application logic, or maybe even a trigger, depending on the pattern.
Okay.
Then you execute a single insert or update command into the Azure SQL table. That single command includes both your regular relational data columns and the new vector data type column containing the embedding.
All in one atomic transaction.
Exactly. Consistency and integrity are guaranteed from the get-go. No complex external synchronization process needed. It drastically simplifies your data ingestion pipelines.
Back to the analogy. The smartphone contact list.
Perfect. You add a new contact name, number, email, and you upload their profile picture, the vector, all in the same screen. Hit save once.
Text and image saved together, same place, same time.
Seamless, integrated. No separate photo album to manage or keep in sync.
Okay, now the select operation. This is where the real magic happens.
This is where the power truly shines, yeah.
Yeah.
And where the biggest architectural simplification occurs. So, user types, durable backpack for student laptop.
Right.
Step 1. Your application still needs to vectorize that query text into its numerical representation using an ML model. That part doesn't change.
Okay.
Step 2. Now you execute a single, powerful select statement directly against your Azure SQL database. This query uses the new native vector distance function in its where, or order by clause.
So the vector comparison happens inside SQL itself.
Correct. That single query does all the heavy lifting. It finds the items whose stored vectors are closest, most similar to the query vector, and it retrieves all their associated relational data, product ID, name, price, inventory count, whatever else you need directly from the same table or related tables via standard SQL joins.
All in one go.
All in one go. Those previous cumbersome steps, query external vector DB for IDs, query SQL DB for details, join in the app, they're completely, utterly eliminated.
That's elegant and efficient.
It really is.
Yeah.
So the bottom line for you, Alex, the professional, for insert update, the benefit is simpler, more robust data management, no more sync headaches.
Okay.
But for select, the benefit is that massive, game-changing reduction in complexity and latency. You replace that ugly, multi-step scatter-gather pattern across two databases with a single, clean, efficient query on your primary database.
Meaning faster search results for users.
And way simpler, more maintainable code for your developers. Faster feature delivery, fewer bugs.
Right. Okay. So the final action proposed here is pretty clear.
Yeah. Actively explore migrating existing AI apps or designing new ones to leverage these integrated vector capabilities within your primary transactional databases, like Azure SQL.
It simplifies architecture.
Improves performance.
Enhances security.
By keeping that AI processing right next to your core data, it's a strategic move that really sets you up for success in this AI-driven era.
Okay, so beyond those specific provider updates, especially the deep dive into Azure's vector support, what are the broader strategies and industry trends we should be thinking about? It's not just about features, right? It's about the bigger picture.
Absolutely. This raises that crucial question. How do we make sure our organizations aren't just adopting tech, but actually transforming to really harness AI's potential? The newsletter offers some great quick tips and highlights some key industry insights that are essential for long-term planning.
Moving beyond features to strategic imperatives.
Exactly. #tag quick tips and best practices.
Okay, first quick tip mentioned. Embrace data gravity for AI deployments.
Right. The core idea here is simple but powerful. Prioritize platforms and architectures that let you bring the AI to your data, rather than moving massive amounts of data to the AI processing layer.
Process applications, AI functions, right where the data already lives.
Precisely. And the benefits are significant. First, security. Minimizing data movement inherently reduces your attack surface, lowering the risk of breaches during transit or in staging areas.
Good point.
Second, latency. Queries and processing happen locally, avoiding network hops, which is critical for real-time AI applications. Third, compliance. Keeping sensitive data localized within required regulatory boundaries becomes much easier. You avoid the headache of tracking and managing data movement across different systems, regions, or even clouds.
It simplifies a lot of the governance burden.
It really does. It's a proactive approach in a world where data privacy and security are paramount and breaches are incredibly costly.
Okay, action proposed. Prioritize data gravity in your AI deployments.
Yeah. Design architectures that minimize data movement. It enhances security, reduces latency, simplifies compliance. Treat it as a foundational principle for new AI projects.
Second tip, strategize for hybrid cloud database environments.
Right. The advice is to choose database solutions that provide robust, consistent support for workloads running both on-premises and in the cloud.
Acknowledging that reality for many large enterprises, they often have significant on-prem investments they can't just ditch overnight.
Exactly. This hybrid capability gives you essential flexibility, resilience, and control. It helps address diverse deployment needs, maybe specific data sovereignty requirements where certain data must stay on-prem.
Or for gradual cloud migrations.
Perfect example. It's crucial for organizations with that mixed infrastructure or those in highly regulated industries. It provides that vital bridge between legacy systems and your cloud-native future. The key is finding solutions that offer a consistent experience management, tooling, APIs across both environments.
So you're not managing two completely different worlds.
Right. Action proposed. Ensure your database solutions offer robust, hybrid capabilities.
Maintain that flexibility and control across diverse deployment scenarios. Balance on-prem and cloud effectively. Build a future-proof architecture, not just a cloud-only one.
Third quick tip ties back to some specific features we discussed. Optimize cloud costs with reserved instances and flexible memory.
Right. For predictable workloads, the advice is clear. Look at purchasing RIAs for potentially big savings. We saw that with AWS RDS for Oracle.
Yep, and specifically for Azure SQL Managed Instance, leverage that new flexible memory feature we dug into.
Configure RAM independently of vCores.
And prevent over-provisioning, and ensure you only pay for the memory you actually consume. Drive down costs, especially for those memory-heavy workloads. Fine-tune resource allocation.
So action proposed. Implement a proactive cloud cost optimization strategy.
Don't just rely on RIs. Continuously analyze workload patterns, understand the subtle cost drivers, and use tools like flexible memory for dynamic adjustments, not just upfront commitments. It's an ongoing FinOps discipline.
Okay, this next one feels really important, maybe even more strategic. Prepare your organization, not just your technology, for agentic AI.
Yes, the newsletter really emphasizes this. Successfully adopting agentic AI, these more autonomous AI systems, isn't just about deploying the tech. It demands a fundamental shift in your organizational structure, how roles are defined, how workflows are designed.
It's a human and process challenge, not just technical.
Absolutely. It means potentially redesigning roles. Maybe managers become orchestrators of AI agents, setting goals and constraints rather than micromanaging tasks. Maybe analysts become context curators, ensuring the AI has the right, high-quality information and ethical guidelines to operate effectively.
And redesigning processes.
Making them more dynamic, more goal-driven, allowing AI agents the flexibility to adapt and pursue objectives autonomously within those defined guardrails. This organizational and process transformation is crucial to actually realizing the ROI from agentic AI.
Otherwise, the tech might just sit there underutilized.
Or worse, cause problems if not managed correctly within the organizational context. It's a major operational shift, requiring careful change management. Organizations that ignore the human element will likely struggle.
Okay, action proposed. Begin organizational planning for agentic AI now.
Yeah. Start rethinking roles and workflows within your data teams and beyond. Don't just focus on the technical implementation. Prepare your people and processes for this coming paradigm shift.
Future-proof your workforce, too.
And the final quick tip, build a strong data foundation for AI success. This sounds fundamental.
It is. The newsletter points out that even with all this rapid AI adoption, ongoing challenges with legacy systems, siloed data, poor data quality, these can seriously hinder the long-term value you get from AI.
It's the classic data problem, amplified by AI's dependence on data.
Exactly. So it's imperative to invest in solutions that can bridge those disparate data sources, consistently improve data quality, and rigorously enforce data governance policies.
Because agentic AI, especially, needs good data. Absolutely. Agentic AI, making autonomous decisions, requires robust, reliable, context-aware data backbones to function effectively and safely. Without clean, well-governed, trustworthy data, your sophisticated AI agents are just making potentially high-stakes decisions based on faulty information.
Garbage in, garbage out, but with autonomous actions at the end.
Precisely. Higher stakes. So, action proposed. Invest in robust data foundations.
Focus on data quality, integration, governance. It's the critical prerequisite for any successful, scalable, and trustworthy AI initiative. It's the bedrock. # industry insights and trends.
Okay, moving from tips to broader industry trends shaping the future. First one, the acceleration of agentic AI.
Right. The newsletter positions this as an evolutionary leap beyond generative AI like ChatGPT.
Yeah, generative AI is amazing at information extraction, content creation, summarization based on prompts. Agentic AI builds on that foundation. It enables systems to act with much greater independence, more context awareness, more coordination. They can dynamically pursue goals, make autonomous decisions within defined guardrails, of course, to automate complex multi-step tasks.
With limited or maybe even no direct human intervention for each step.
That's the goal. Think of an agent that can not just draft a report, but autonomously gather the required data from multiple systems, perform the analysis, generate the visualizations, format the report, and maybe even route it for approval.
Okay, that's a significant step up in capability. What are the key traits of these agentic systems?
The newsletter highlights a few. Autonomy, acting without constant instruction. Goal orientation, working towards objectives, adapting the path. Context awareness, understanding the situation. And evolving behavior, learning and improving over time.
And how are vendors approaching this?
It seems to be two-pronged. Offering pre-built, domain-specific agentic solutions for faster results in certain areas, but also investing heavily in more complex multi-agent frameworks, where different AI agents can collaborate, each specializing in a subtask, to achieve a bigger goal.
Like a team of AI agents working together.
Kind of, yeah. Opens up huge possibilities for enterprise automation.
Yeah. Action proposed. Stay informed on agentic AI developments.
Absolutely. Understand how these autonomous systems will likely impact your future data workflows, your system integrations, and the demands placed on your underlying data infrastructure. This isn't science fiction. It's happening now.
Okay, another big trend mentioned, database consolidation and the rise of sovereign data and AI platforms. Consolidation after years of database proliferation.
It seems so. We went through that phase of needing a specialized database for everything: graph, document, time series, vector. But the market now seems to be swinging back towards fewer, more versatile platforms that can handle multiple data models well.
And the newsletter specifically called out PostgreSQL.
Yeah, reporting that a staggering 57% of new AI projects are apparently starting on PostgreSQL.
Wow. Why PostgreSQL, do you think?
Its open source nature, massive ecosystem, proven robustness, and incredible extensibility are key. Extensions like pgvector allow it to handle vector data alongside relational, JSON, spatial data, etc., all within one system. That versatility is very attractive.
Okay, so consolidation onto versatile platforms. And how does that connect to sovereign data and AI platforms?
They're deeply intertwined. Enterprises are increasingly demanding full control over their data and their AI models. They want to dictate exactly where, when, and how their workloads run. This isn't just about ticking compliance boxes. It's about strategic control over their core intellectual property and maintaining operational agility.
Owning their stack, basically.
Exactly. And this drive for sovereignty critically enables them to integrate AI directly with their data on platforms they control, leading to that enhanced security, scalability, and compliance we keep talking about.
Like the native vector support example.
Precisely. Furthermore, this focus on sovereignty is fostering the development of agent-to-agent A2A protocols. The idea is to accelerate interoperability between different AI systems or agents, potentially running on different platforms, and critically mitigate vendor lock-in concerns.
So your agents can talk to each other even if they aren't all from the same vendor.
That's the vision. By owning their data and core AI models, organizations can ensure their AI strategy truly serves their business needs, not just a vendor's roadmap. It's about building a data and AI stack that is powerful, flexible, and fundamentally under their control.
Okay, action proposed. Evaluate this trend towards database consolidation.
Look at versatile platforms like PostgreSQL and prioritize solutions that offer these sovereign data and AI capabilities, giving you that enhanced control, security, and compliance across your whole data landscape. It's a defining characteristic of future enterprise strategies.
All right, finally, the newsletter points towards some valuable community engagement opportunities. Always good to know where to learn more.
Yes, staying connected is key. First mentions the recently released 2025 Gartner Magic Quadrant for Analytics and Business Intelligence Platforms that came out June 16th, 2025.
Ah, the Magic Quadrant. Always influential. What were the highlights?
Well, it provides that critical market assessment, evaluates key vendors. Microsoft and Google were named leaders, AWS a challenger in this space, and importantly, it highlights the significant impact that generative and agentic AI are already having on the BI and analytics market.
So a must-read for anyone involved in BI strategy or vendor selection.
Definitely. It's not just about the dots on the chart. It offers deep insights into vendor strategies, strengths, weaknesses, and overall market trends, especially around AI integration. Critical input for your strategic planning.
And it also mentioned a recent conference.
Yes, the 2025 ACM SIGMOD conference that just happened June 22nd to 27th in Berlin, Germany.
SIGMOD, that's the premier academic and industry conference for data management.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Brings together the top researchers and practitioners. Google's Spanner team was actually a platinum sponsor this year, celebrating Spanner getting that SIGMOD Systems Award we talked about.
Ah, nice tie-in.
These kinds of events, SIGMOD, VLDB, and others, are fantastic opportunities to dive even deeper, connect with the community, hear directly from the innovators. Even just reviewing the published papers and proceedings afterwards can give you invaluable insights into the absolute cutting edge of database research and development.
See where the future is heading.
Exactly. It's often where the next big things in data management first get presented. Hashtag, tag, outro.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot of ground. So let's try to synthesize this. What does all this mean, and where do we really go from here with these massive shifts happening in database engineering?
Yeah, zooming out.
Yeah.
It's clear the age of AI isn't just about algorithms running somewhere else. It is fundamentally reshaping our data architectures, our operational models, everything.
It's forcing a rethink.
Totally. That rapid move towards native vector support inside databases, the intense focus on cost optimization and hybrid flexibility, the undeniable acceleration of agentic AI, it all points to this future where data and intelligence are just inseparable.
Two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. Driving innovation together.
Yeah.
And demanding a fundamentally new approach to how we design, build, and manage our information systems.
So this newsletter and our whole deep dive today, it really leaves us with a provocative question for you, Alex, for you, the listener, to take away and think about.
Sat.
As agentic AI continues to redefine what automation and decision-making look like, how prepared is your organization, not just your tech, but your structure, your processes, your people, to fundamentally rethink its data architecture and operational models? How ready are you to truly harness AI's full potential, not just for efficiency gains, but for real top-line revenue growth?
That's a powerful thought to mull over. It's not just about keeping the lights on anymore. It's about strategic transformation. Well, we really hope this deep dive has been valuable, empowering you on your database engineering journey. Hopefully, it provided some clear insights and actionable strategies for you.
And hey, if you want to get better at communicating your own technical skills, maybe using AI to practice creating conversations like this one, don't forget to check out the AI Database podcast. We've linked it in the show notes. Great resource.
Definitely worth a listen. And we genuinely value your insights, too. Please share your thoughts on these updates in the comments below. What stood out most to you? What are you seeing in your own work?
Yeah, let us know. Your perspective really helps everyone. And for more deep dives just like this one, remember to like, subscribe, and follow the deep dive. We're here every week with fresh insights into databases, data engineering, and architecture powered by AI.
Thanks for joining us on this exploration.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We look forward to diving deep with you again next time.
Don't miss out. Smash that like button, subscribe, and explore our other videos in the playlists.